Hundreds of thousands of refugees risk being forced to return to Syria despite the country's ongoing violence. That's according to a report by 6 major international charities. They claim an anti-refugee backlash coupled with misleading rhetoric in refugee-hosting countries have created a false impression that Syria is now safe. The aid agencies say even where the bombings and fighting have stopped, the country's shattered infrastructure cannot support an influx of returnees. Last year, more than 66,000 Syrians returned home, but 1 in 3 were forced to flee again due to the ongoing violence. Allahu Akbar. Asian shares have fallen sharply across the board in reaction to a Wall Street plunge not seen for a decade. Japan's Nikkei lost 4.6%, while South Korean shares dropped 2%. Hours before, the Dow Jones had plummeted by 1,175 points, its worst drop since September 2008. The decline follows months of market increases, which have fueled concerns that share prices were overvalued, but not everyone is concerned.
The market has gone up very substantially, so we were looking at something of this sort, and I don't think we have to worry. As long as Trump is president, I don't think we have to worry.
In response, the White House says it's focused on long-term economic fundamentals, which remain exceptionally strong.
In a move which could change the future of space travel, billionaire businessman Elon Musk has successfully launched the world's most powerful rocket. The center booster rocket slammed into the Atlantic later at nearly 500 kilometers an hour. Musk said he was relieved the launch had gone well.
Incredibly proud of the SpaceX team. They've done an incredible job of creating really the most advanced rocket in the world and the biggest rocket in the world. I had this image of just a giant explosion on the pad with a wheel bouncing down the road.
SpaceX says it wants to send missions to Mars in the coming years. But whatever Musk's personal ambitions in space, experts say the launch is a huge step forward for the space industry.
The reusability of the rocket boosters, which is something SpaceX is leading the way in, is key to bringing down the cost of launch and making it more environmentally friendly, more sustainable. And to see those 2 boosters coming down side by side, that was a brilliant view and just a sign of how space is evolving.
And in a touch of whimsy, the rocket's mock payload was a cherry red Tesla from Musk's electric car company.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel's Conservatives and the centre-left Social Democrats will renew efforts to form a grand coalition and end months of uncertainty. One SPD member said Tuesday will be the decisive day as to whether the talks will be successfully concluded or not. Over the weekend, they agreed to invest more than €2 billion in social housing by 2021. But healthcare and labour reforms are the final obstacles to overcome to prevent Germany from facing a second election within 4 months.
Grueling overnight talks between the leaders of the Conservative CDU and the centre-left SPD in Germany appear to have succeeded, with the 2 parties announcing on Wednesday morning that they will attempt to form a grand coalition government. The SPD has been allocated the Foreign, Finance and Labour Ministries, while the CDU will retain the Defence and Economy portfolios, according to media reports. The same reports claim the Interior Ministry will be taken by Angela Merkel's Bavarian ally Horst Seehofer. Seehofer has been taking a tough line on immigration up until now. The European Union wants the power to impose sanctions on the UK during the transition period after leaving the bloc if London violates agreed rules. That's according to a leaked document drawn up by the European Union. British newspaper The Guardian claims restrictions on single market benefits could be applied if it would take too long to take Britain to the European Court to settle a dispute. The draft text has not been mentioned so far as part of negotiations to thrash out the terms of divorce between Britain and the EU. The development will inevitably increase pressure on Prime Minister Theresa May, who's been criticised of being too accommodating to EU demands.
The Article 50 process is...
As it stands, During the 21-month transition period, the UK will effectively stay in the single market and customs union without any say on new regulations.
Police in Portugal say they've made one of their largest seizures of a substance used to produce the banned drug ecstasy. Around 4.5 tons of BMK arrived in the country by air from Asia. It's thought the haul would be used to make around 30 million pills. It follows a joint operation involving Dutch and Belgian authorities, although no details have been released as to where and when the bust was made. France's Bastille Day celebrations could be copied by the United States. Inspired by his visit to Paris last year, President Donald Trump now wants a show to call his own. He's ordered the Pentagon to look into the possibilities of staging a military parade. The White House says Trump wants something for all Americans to show their appreciation. France's parade included marching soldiers, tanks, armored vehicles, and a flypast of US and French warplanes. A Pentagon spokesman says the Department of Defense is only exploring the possibilities at this time.
Televidente, momento para outro espaço comercial. Ora, nós estamos back no Informe Deportivo.